Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and it's been rough for me these past few days. It's been a while since I gave up on an event in War Thunder. I am definitely somebody that I don't want to say I struggle with gaming addiction, because I've just given in to my desire to play way more video games than I really should as a healthy, well-adjusted individual, and that's not a joke. I play too many video games, okay, and I'll pay the price for that over the course of my lifetime. I could be a lot better man. One day at a time. But it's been a while since I gave up on an event in War Thunder, because War Thunder is really the game I play now. I used to play more than one game. That's not really the case anymore. I'll take a break from War Thunder for like a week, maybe, and then I always find myself coming back again. That might not always happen, by the way, because I really enjoy this game. I think that it checks a lot of boxes for me. But one thing that can guarantee that I will give up on War Thunder if the mechanics of the game just become unenjoyable. And I was sort of feeling like that's the way the game has been the past few days. I've been very frustrated with server issues. And I think that's the majority of it, and that's what happened to World War Mode. But I think also the scheduling of World War Mode is just really inconvenient already, and you're talking to somebody that never leaves his house, so I definitely would appreciate if it was more like a 24 hours kind of deal, where people could play the event whenever they wanted to. I know that introduces different balancing issues, but those issues are there already with it as a scheduled event, with people that are more able to participate during the active hours of the event. So maybe they could double the length that time window is. I think that wouldn't find Gaijin culpable for whatever self-harm people inflicted by playing too many video games. But since we're on the topic of taking responsibility, yes, we're playing very, very low tier right now, and I promise that I didn't just want to stomp some noobs. Honest. That poor I-16 pilot. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Welcome to War Thunder. So I needed a vacation, is what I'm saying. I didn't want to play another game. In fact, I reinstalled Pathfinder Kingmaker, and I was like, it's too slow. It's just too slow for me now. I need mental stimulation. I know too much about that game, that's the problem. And the thing about War Thunder that always keeps it fresh for me is, not only is there a ridiculously vast amount of content, I'm talking just so much content that the game is straining and shitting itself under the weight of all the content. Just fixing what's in the game could take 5 years. And that's not what's going to happen now, is it? Soviet jank for the win. But that also means that we have all this cool stuff in the game. But not only do we have all this cool stuff, but because of the complex PvP nature of this game, you can get an entirely different experience playing low tier than you get from high tier, and you're always developing new strategies and new proficiencies in this game. It really makes me think, and I'm addicted to thinking, to observing, to reasoning. I'm a thinking man, okay? I love to work hard and just like set my brain to the task of doing a job really well, like good physical work. but when I'm sitting in front of my computer getting fatter, and I don't want to get dumber at the same time. So it feels good to stretch my mind by playing some War Thunder. Suffice to say, this game really appeals to me, and it also has been causing me some mental turmoil, some emotional anguish over the past few days. Does that make sense? Combined with my horrible sleep schedule, that is 1 a.m. here, by the way. I'll probably wake up at about 6, and I need about 10 hours of sleep before I'm caught up to where I should be. So that's a problem too, and I've just been a little bit... Actually, let's be honest here. I've been super grumpy, and my wife and daughters are saints for putting up with me. I was so ridiculous. This is like the grumpiest I've been in years, just as a combination of things. It's not all War Thunder. Caffeine's part of it too, by the way. But I needed a vacation. I probably said that already. Getting too old for this shit. I feel like, who's the black guy from Lethal Weapons? One of them's Riggs and the other one is Murtaugh, right? I think Murtaugh's the black guy, right? Anyway, I'm getting too old for this shit. And yet, I'll probably play this game. Well, whatever, we'll see. We'll see. But this game might kill me one day. Low tier. Low tier is the vacation for War Thunder. You just get to play so much less disciplined. You get to feel the growth of your skills by comparing it against people. I know. How do I make this sound like I'm not a monster? I'm not gonna stay here, okay? But I am gonna vacate here. And welcome to my vacation. I needed it. I really appreciate the higher tier content that I've been getting into in terms of Tank RB battles. I've been playing 8.0, 9.0 matches, and that's really sharpened my skills for this. Anyway, Qwerties, you're not alone, bud. You are a fellow man of good taste. In fact, I haven't heard from Qwerties in a while. I think I mentioned that before. I hope he's doing well. I'll have to add him and see what's going on, because he's just usually not so quiet. I hope everything is going well for him. These are crazy times. You know what, guys? Check in on your friends. Let them know you care, because there's a lot of emotional stress out there. Facebook is full of stuff that just like, I have to stop scrolling Facebook. I have to. And I'm used to checking my notifications and then scrolling down and seeing what my friends are doing. But I can't read the things that people are saying to each other right now. People are being very, very shitty to each other. And they're speaking poorly about, this person or that person, but I really, really love people, and there really is like a minimum value that a person has to have. Otherwise, it actually causes harm to you if you don't hold people at that level of value. You know what I'm saying? And it really comes down to the fact that there's nothing more important, there's nothing more precious, and there's nothing more sacred, dare I say, than human life. And that means the well-being of everyone. You gotta be able to write people off, but you also have to write people a check for a lot more credit than they really do. You know what I'm saying? You have to be generous with people. You have to be generous with people and give them what they don't deserve. That's called grace. I don't know why I'm lecturing you guys now as I'm being a total monster here at low tier. But I think that's really part of the way that I'm dealing with the emotional trauma that I've put myself through. Just witnessing the the way people have been treating each other lately over various issues that you're all very aware of, because these conversations are going on all over the place. And it's wound up with a lot of people treating a lot of people a lot worse than they should for their own well-being. Bitterness will destroy you. But the good news is that the good news exists. Jesus Christ loved you so much that he suffered for you personally, and he won the victory for you specifically. There we go. That's the end of this match. It was pretty ridiculous. And I've been having great matches at 2-3 Germany, guys. Aren't you proud of me? But the value that you find in the Lord is the right value to give to everybody, and it protects you in your life from the real damage that bitterness causes to you. So I'm off my soapbox. It's Jane's turn, and in fact that brings up the topic once again. Jane told me that he actually changed his name from Tiny German because, I hope he doesn't mind if I share this fact, but he said he changed it because he was getting just treated very poorly by people that saw he had German in his name, and just treated him very poorly because of that. And I'm not gonna dig into that at all. That's bad behavior, and it affected my friend. I don't approve of that at all. And yet the people that were doing that, you gotta show them a certain level of respect too. It doesn't mean you agree with what they're doing. It doesn't mean that you don't stand up for my buddy Tiny German, or Jane J. Sargent, however he wants his net handle to be. But it does mean that you don't write those people off. You don't treat them like they're trash. I think I've touched on this a little bit when I've had some bitter words to say, you know? I have to correct myself. I have to line up with what's good. And what's good is giving people value and respect and honor that they cannot forfeit or lose. Doesn't mean you agree with them. Doesn't mean you side with them. You might even have to, fight against them with all of your strength to the bitter end. But to still value that person and recognize the sacredness, the absolutely unforfeitable value of their individual life, because it's a human life. That brings society up to a level that will not put up with exploitation or injustice or harm to any group of people. In fact, that's the answer to some of these issues we've all been talking about. It's not to write off racists. It's not to classify some people as completely unacceptable and write them off. It's not to cancel people. But it's to give every person a chance, to give them the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of their own personal joy, as long as it doesn't infringe on other people's life, liberty, and pursuit of joy. What a simple concept, and yet ignored. But not by me. Anyway, soapbox done. I've been getting really political lately, but hopefully you recognize that it's only in the best possible light. And okay, let's talk about the replay, shall we? The T-55AM. Now, how do I know the name of this USSR tank when I don't know the names of anything else at this. Well, you know the reason, right? It's a premium vehicle, and I own one now. That's how I learned the names. I don't use vehicles unless they're premium most of the time. I'm actually straying away from that a little bit, and having some fun. You saw me in the Stug. That's actually one of my old favorites. If you're looking for a German vehicle at very low tier, 2-3 battle rating, to fall in love with, Stug 3. That's where it's at. Anyway, Jane having a blast in the T55AM, the up-armored T55 with a few little gadgets sewn on by Papa Stalin's favorite seamstresses for good measure, and really best used as any other MBT in the game. You play Cannon Breach Thunder, you play Speedy Boy Thunder, and it falls behind a little bit in mobility, but I've noticed that low profile really counts for a lot, especially with how easy it is to engage people with the weapons at this tier, whether they're darts or guided missiles. Being just a bit smaller and a bit less noticeable really goes a long way. Of course, having some gun depression would help even more, but it's not really the worst, so that's certainly useful. Add to that the fact that certain German vehicles and lineups are more popular and less effective, and the T55 can do fairly well. Having said that, that mouse defended himself pretty well, didn't he? So that's the end of that was Jane in that one. Yeah, right. And now, SonOfFudge in what you can tell is one of my favorite premium Japanese tanks, as no doubt you've recognized my handiwork in the form of that Link theme Legend of Zelda custom camouflage that I crafted. That's something I do for my very favorite tanks. Second shot hits the bustle on, or sorry, it's an external equipment box, I think. A toolbox, if you will. Does not detonate the round or go through the armor, and yet a nice third-person view shot through the trees takes down one of those Valentines. There should be another one in the area. You can also see a couple of enemy tanks. I think those are enemies. Even 3 of them on that hill. Maybe it was just 2. Looks like a T-34. SonOfFudge pulling off a maneuver that I've seen a lot from Oddboz, who I've been watching. I'd like to get an interview with him sometime. He's got a great accent. He's got great gameplay. I'm a fan. And usually when I discover a YouTuber, a War Thunder YouTuber that I enjoy, then I'll shoot him a little message and be like, hey, I do interviews, but I'll see if I can't get a hold of Oddboz at some point. Then I've got to actually find time to do that, though. I've been so crazy busy. It really does feel good to sit down and talk with you guys for a while. You guys have been a little bit quiet lately. The conversations on the Discord have sort of died down. I suspect that we're all emotionally drained. We're tired of people, which is like, isn't that weird to be in a situation where society is sort of shut down, and yet we don't want to open up to people because we're hurting. You know, we're all hurting here. Let's admit it. We were meant to hang out with each other, and it's really hard when it's hard to do that. It really makes me appreciate a forum like this, but it's really not enough. It really isn't, and that's just another reason that we're all having a hard time this year, I think. And hard times can be good for your character. So hang in there, suffer through it, get strong. This is a generation, and it's my generation, right? So I'm including myself in here. This is a generation that could use a lot of toughening up, because this is not easy times, but times can get a lot harder. A World War II vehicles game can remind you of that. Imagine, if you will, the poor bastards in those Japanese tanks that didn't have a good time of it toward the end of the war, now did they? Not to make light of their situation, but it's a rough life. And you know what? That was not a unique experience to the citizens of the nations that lost World War II. Everybody was having a bad time. Like those guys in that Valentine tank. Crusader coming in, trying to bring some more of the good news, but it looks like Fudge is waiting for him to clear the obstacles, knowing that he hasn't noticed his presence, gets a nice clean shot on him, and cleans out the crew compartment. I think they could do something with those chemicals, like how we've got the Clorox, and maybe inject it into the crew compartment, clean things out, like a cleaning. Oh man, yeah. I think we're all going a little bit crazy. Anyway, I've been enjoying watching this. This is a very old replay of SonOfFudge. And in the cold and heating things up, one APHE injection at a time. Public service, a sauna craftsman, if you will, and with some nice cool snow for the crew to jump out on and extinguish their diesel or jet fuel flames with. Seems like a good time. I guess there's different ways to take a vacation. Anyway, I'm getting a little loopy, and Cone's very own SonOfFudge is looping around to a new firing position. He's been paying attention to what's going on the mini-map. I said that he was doing something that Oddboz I've noticed doing, and that is that he'll spot a target and he'll observe that target for a while if it's safe to do so, and see what else is going on. Now, that's a very good habit to get into. You don't necessarily want to open fire as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Use your eyes, see what's going on. If you've got a while where the enemy hasn't noticed you, then be a good hunter and find out everything that's going on that you need to know. Disable a target, look around, take another shot, look around, and update yourself on the situation. That's something that I really am weak at, and that's another one of the reasons that I tend to try to put myself in a really good position with a quick access to an escape route, and do things that way, so that I have usually a little bit more leeway if things go south, because I haven't been paying enough attention to what's going on around me. That's something that I do quite a bit, and there's a certain amount to where I can train that. Holy smokes, that scared the poop out of me. The USB charging port for my 3-year-old's tablet is loose, so the all on its own, more or less, the little USB cable worked its way out of good contact with the charging port, so the screen flashes on, and I was like, who's shining a light in my window? Because it's like, so it did frighten me a little bit. It's be a little bit scary. Maybe I'm a little bit paranoid, just kind of on edge, because things are a little bit weird right now in America. They're a little bit weird in a lot of places. You like to think that you live somewhere where horrible, terrible things are not going to happen, and families aren't going to get dragged out of their homes and shot in the street. But if you don't have a way of preventing that from happening, then you really don't have any right to expect that to not happen. Anyway, yeah, I got guns. I happen to not be sitting near any of them right now, though, so if somebody wanted to shine a light in my window and then, just do horrible things to me. There's pretty much nothing I could do to defend myself. It's a nice thought, isn't it? You know what? That would be pretty terrifying, but I got a backup plan. Because the worst thing somebody can do is kill me. I'm gonna go be with the Lord, and He's the best there ever was. And, it's not like He's not around now. Very comforting feeling for me. Very comforting. I've lived through some stuff. Not the worst, but not great. And nothing has helped me to deal with all of that and to live with confidence and joy, even though if somebody really wanted to, they could just shoot you through your window. It's okay. The world is crazy. People can be horrible, but God's good. And this life is extremely, extremely short compared with being forever with Him. And He's that good. Anyway, SonOfFudge, taking forever to kill his next target. I worked it around. That's called a segue, lads and ladies. It's not just a little board that you ride on with little wheelie jobbers. Whoa. Sorry, my legs are dead. They'll rise again. But, it's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long period in life since my son was born, our third child, and I'm going to be honest with you, I am not really qualified to raise 3 kids. Thank God that I have the support of my wife, and again, kudos to her, because I don't always have the best attitude, especially for her, which is really unfair, right? She's the most helpful person to me in my life, and I have less respect for her and less consideration for her because I spend so much time with her. They say familiarity breeds contempt, so I gotta remind myself about how important she is and how hard she works, and actually do things like helping out more. Yeah, okay, maybe you can remind me of that. Anyway, that's how you show you care. You do stuff. You help out. You lift people up. I've listened to Joe Rogan talk to what's his name? I got it right here. Why don't I look it up for you real quick? We're not watching anything right now, are we? I've been watching Joe Rogan's interview with James Lindsay. That's Lindsay. He's an academic who is not really impressed with the woke movements in academia. I can't say I disagree. Where you've got, foundations built on logic and reasoning and self-criticism that abandon all those things for cultural revolution. But anyway, what do we have here? Italian fella and that USSR SPG. No match for SonOfFudge's APHE sushi roll. And with a double ace, a nice, chill, almost uncontested mastery of this match here in Frozen Pass. Frozen peas, there you go. Frozen peas and carrots. What was I talking about? I was watching Joe Rogan talk with this guy, James Lindsay, and they brought up the point, and I've forgotten the point that I was going to make. Whatever. Let's talk about frozen peas instead. So, as we see where SonOfFudge is going to go here, there we go, straight to the victory screen. Maybe I'll talk about frozen veggies another time. I just helped Brooklyn helped me heat up some frozen veggies for her for dinner tonight. Dinner is at like 10 p.m. for her. The girl doesn't eat for most of the day, and then she gets really hungry at night. I could could try to fight her about it and get her to eat on the same schedule as me, but she is who she is. Anyway, she's helping me heat up some frozen veggies. Daddy, I want to help. So I let her watch me do most of the work because I didn't trust her to like pour the peas into the bowl. And then I salted the frozen veggies, and I closed the salt, and then I give it to her. Okay, shake the salt. So she shakes. She's not adding any more salt, but she's learning how we do it, right? Because she doesn't have the restraint yet to portion things properly. I'm sure she would put way too much salt. And I didn't feel like having a laugh and throwing out the peas. But that's pretty nice. It's great to lift people up. That's the point. That's the point. It's easy and it's simple to destroy things and to destroy people. Whether that's literally or in your conversations, in your view of them, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes understanding and craft and skill and discernment and self-correction to build something, to build someone up, to build a well-formed opinion, a well-formed understanding, not just what you think, but what's actually true. Because the universe doesn't care what you think. The universe is what it is. And your view of the way things are is not going to be exactly the way things are. You got to work to get closer to what's really true. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Sorry if you weren't looking for several lectures today, but I don't know. That's just the headspace I'm in right now. And I think I've been healing a little bit from some emotional trauma that I've been going through. Just being a part of all this turmoil and witnessing the things don't have to be this way, man. They really don't. Quality leadership. The hearts of the people turning back to what's good and fair and true. Anyway, I'm sure it'll happen. And at worst, I'll go die and be with the Lord someday anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Anyway, catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.